Hey kid, wanna check off?
I thought you'd never ask, sir.
This is disgusting.
Ew.
Oh, God, they should arrest whoever made this.
Big Mouth may be over, but Nick Kroll's domination of Netflix's animation scene will never end. Better get used to it. Meeting Season is the latest case of this. Being announced around a year ago and immediately forgotten by pretty much everyone, the show is finally released. Has already been forgotten about by pretty much everyone. Again. But how could that be possible? When Big Mouth premiered, there was a massive uproar of people crapping on it. It will go down as one of the most infamous cartoons of recent times. You think the guy's next show would have sparked similar outrage, especially given the desperate attempts to come off as edgy. Got real Brickleberry promo vibes based off that premise alone. I suppose I don't find that too surprising. Not only does Big Mouth appeal to a much wider set of demographics, exploring a very broad aspect of life that everyone has to experience. Not everyone can find watching a skunk and raccoon relatable. And if you do, by God. But I also find it to be a misfire to almost exclusively market the show to existing Big Mouth fans. I don't think the crossover is as obvious when you think about it.
Sounds like things are getting serious.
Why so serious?
Mom, you're so fucking funny!
There are people out there who like Big Mouth for exploring more taboo life experiences not often seen in popular media, and find themselves growing attached to the characters because of that relatability. They also really like the hormone monster for some reason. I guess that's why at a certain point their marketing strategy just evolved into having the hormone monster himself tell you how freaking awesome this new show will be.
Honestly, man, I am gonna watch this show. You know, normally I don't actually watch any of this stuff because I'm really
Man, I'm gonna play this off stream, man.
I like that this is basically Nick Kroll talking to Nick Kroll about how awesome Nick Kroll's new show is. Meeting Season aims to achieve the same thing, except instead of puberty, it's love and dating, just with animals. That's not a bad idea on its own. It's actually quite good. You can get away with showing a lot more if they're not humans, I'd imagine. But the show really restricts itself by trying to cater to the same crowd as Big Mouth, who probably aren't going to be as likely to check out a series like this.
Sorry, Mert, this thing is, like, really trying to bite my tits.
The baby wasn't even crying! Either way, it came out a few days ago and I got the chance to check out the entirety of its 10-episode season, and something horrible happened. I didn't totally hate it. You are probably just as surprised as me. I was fully expecting to hit this shit going in, more than Big Mouth. Especially since the few bits of discussion I have seen online have not been positive. But it's with a heavy heart, I have to admit, it's decent. It's very, very decent.
How could she leave me? It's mating season.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's coupling up big time.
Again, no one is more surprised than me. Meeting Season stars Ray, this raccoon with Sonic the Hedgehog sneakers, as he, along with his bear best friend Josh, doe buddy Fawn, and Fox associate Penelope, try to fuck. Oh, no, we can't say that. We gotta say it a fancier way. As they explore dating and falling in love. They're all vastly different personality-wise, as well as having different outlooks on love, which results in them each experiencing these situations in various ways. Ray just wants mindless sex, at least at first. Josh is a loser who's recently been broken up with, Fawn has also recently gotten out of a relationship, and Penelope is semi-nuditine as well as gay. The cast doesn't expand much beyond this group aside from 2 or 3 recurring characters like Fawn's ex-boyfriend. Despite the cast being so small, I was shocked at how little we actually see them doing anything together, especially in that first half. For the most part, each episode just has the characters sitting around a bar talking about their current situations, and then they all split off and go about their arcs, reconvening every now and then to get each other's input. They're clearly going for like a Friends kind of thing, and it doesn't not work. Especially since, like I said, by the second half we see the group mixing and matching more. I was a little concerned going in that the show wouldn't be able to totally escape those Big Mouth comparisons. I'm sure, like me, you go into this thinking, okay, so the raccoon is Nick, the bear is Andrew, the doe is the girl one, but it pretty quickly establishes its own identity. Whether or not you think that identity is good is up to you. One comparison I can unfortunately make to Big Mouth is how the logic of this world just makes no sense whatsoever. I think I consider this more than the writers do. See, the show obviously wants to take advantage of the fact that all these guys and girls are animals in the woods. And so generally, they'll have 2 characters experience something romantically together in a very real way, but they'll put an animal twist on it. For example, in the first episode we see Ray fuck this skunk. It's not very funny, but whatever. After doing the deed, they find themselves stuck together because of copulatory tying, I guess. Now these two characters who just wanted to fucking leave it at that are stuck together and over the course of the episode grow a bit closer. Ray develops feelings for her, but by the end when he finally admits this, she is immediately turned off. The tie breaks and that's that. That's a solid idea for a premise like this, combining both aspects of the show. Animals and fucking. But other times they try to do the same thing and fucking can't make up their mind on how this works logistically. For example, in another episode, we see Ray wanting to help Josh find a girlfriend, and so he gets him to use Tinkler, which is a site of land where a bunch of animals pee and you can see whatever scent you like. Again, if this is the premise of your show, then that's a pretty good idea. However, because this is the Big Mouth team, they couldn't help but add all this fantastical nonsense that makes you question the rules of this world. So when Josh comes over to smell the other animals, a pea cloud of them appears and talks about themselves. Whatever, it's a cool visual representation, I guess. But then, the pea clouds start saying shit like, "Hi, welcome to my profile." Or Ray will say, "Oh, don't pay attention to her, she's a catfish." But like, how? It's fucking pee! Then Josh finds one he likes, pees on it, and apparently, that's it, the girl has now been notified, telepathically, I guess. And now they have a date organized without saying a single word. It doesn't sound like a big deal, and honestly, it probably isn't. Okay, let's be real. But dumb shit like that completely destroyed Big Mouth's premise. And it's sadly not completely absent in mating season either. I think the show is really at its worst, though, when it relies on a bunch of lame fucking animal puns that any 2-year-old could come up with.
Please, tear open our insides and use our intestines as scarves!
Dad, you've gotta stop watching Fox News! Both of you
Or when the characters don't feel like they're talking to each other and instead as if they're talking directly to the audience. Some characters have jobs, others don't. Why have a job when money doesn't matter? We see animal restaurants with waiters, hospitals with doctors. Why do they want to do this? I don't think any of our protagonists work. How do they keep their houses? Do they have to pay rent? I don't know. Why would there be jobs then? They didn't even have to think too hard about it. Like Ray, the raccoon, likes rummaging for stuff because, no duh. Make him a reseller. Bam, easy. Another aspect I'm not totally into is how a lot of the morals these characters learn falls into that therapy speak style of writing. When you're watching two characters talk to each other but you can't get over that feeling that they're simply talking at each other? Like, I enjoyed Zootopia too, but I think my least favorite scene of that whole film had to be when they just stopped talking to each other and just started listing their character flaws to each other.
And I didn't say it. I should have said it, but I didn't, because...
It's hard to write characters learning something without it feeling like the viewer is being spoon-fed the message, but it can be done a whole lot more naturally than how some of these episodes handle it. But saying that, some episodes aren't that bad, and have a lot of ideas that I think are executed quite well. There's this one halfway through the season where Ray's mum comes to town, a character we've been informed is a complete scumbag, and Josh just can't understand why Ray is being so welcoming to her, ignoring all the bad stuff she had done to him in the past, including trying to eat him. He's being so forgiving just because she's shown up again and is giving him the slightest bit of affection. You've seen this episode before, even without watching it you can tell exactly where it's going. Everyone loves her, Josh tries to step in and warn Ray, but he tells him to fuck off and it's revealed that, of course, she came back with negative intentions, whatever. But I really like the sequence where Josh talks to his mum about all this and realizes because he's been so neglected and taken advantage of by his mum, that it causes him to desperately cling on to any sliver of affection that's given to him. And it's from there he understands this isn't something he can simply snap Ray out of. That's not some groundbreaking message that's never been done before, but I wasn't expecting it from fucking mating season. I enjoyed it.
Hey, Miss Lady Horse, you got
I also really liked the double flashback episode where we see what led up to Fawn and Penelope meeting each other, that being their previous complicated relationships. Us learning that when Penelope loves someone, she gives it her all, and Fawn having to let go of something serious because she realized she couldn't try and change the guy, which only makes it all the more interesting by the end of the season, when we're reintroduced to that same guy who has since then let another woman change him, and is also getting married. These are episodes I can safely say are good, and a whole lot better than whatever Big Mouth had to offer. I can see why people wouldn't be willing to check out the show despite that. I know a lot of folks could not get past these fucking dreadful visuals. While the backgrounds and compositing are generally fine for the most part, I can't lie and say these designs and the animation quality aren't a huge hurdle to get past. Why does 95% of Western animation these days just look horrible? And I'm not even focusing on the art style, I mean the actual quality of the animation itself. Everything has to be bordered in the most plain way imaginable, constant flat shots from the same 3/4 angles. Meeting Season has some of the choppiest animation out there, especially from a big-budget Netflix series like this.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Ginger.
You have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
It's hard to notice because most scenes just consist of characters standing around and cycling through the same few poses, but there are a few sequences that aim to be more ambitious. And by God, does it completely flop on its face. You've probably seen this fight sequence floating around social media, and it is just as bad as everyone says it is. You can see the animators struggle to make these rigs even the slightest bit expressive. The movements are so choppy, and they're constantly trying to add in smear frames to make things more lively, but they add this fuck-ass motion blur to it, which I fucking hate. It is an ugly show, quite unpleasant to look at, and it sucks because it only deters people from wanting to check it out. I mean, let's be real, there is a very clear demographic that should have been marketing themselves towards hard. Millions of potential viewers who would have tuned in and fell in love with this show. And I think we all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, they call themselves furries, and one of them is the richest man in the world.
Yep.
I mean, it was obvious, right? It's a show about anthro-animals fucking, why wouldn't they capitalize on furries? I remember when this series first got announced, and it was just furry artist after furry artist showing off their redesigns to try and make the characters even vaguely appealing. Like always, this was unquestionably by design. I mean, just take a look at the character sketches done before the show got morphed into this. And to be fair, I think Big Mouth is the uglier show. I actually like Ray and Fawn's designs. Josh isn't totally awful, but Penelope is just fucking hideous to look at. She looks like an ugly background character, not part of the main cast. Like, I'm not saying it had to look like their fucking fursuit mascot outfits or anything, but I think people would have been a lot more forgiving. Hell, I think a ton of people would straight up love this show if it didn't look like this. And so, in conclusion, is Meeting Season bad? No. Is Meeting Season good? Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it is not without its redeemable qualities. Qualities which I'm sure were not a result of Nick Kroll's involvement. But if any of the positives I have discussed even remotely sound interesting to you, then I'd say give an episode or two a chance. What's the matter? Afraid you might like the animal sex show? Huh? You freak?